How do you do, y'all? It's Tom the Beer Whisperer. I picked up a few from Trader Joe's when we were on vacation last week, so I'm going to do one long video featuring 3 beers that I picked up from Trader Joe's. The first, I'm using my Gordon Beer Kolsch glass because it is a Kolsch style ale. It's Joseph Brow Summer Brew, a Kolsch style ale, 4.8%. I'm going to read just a touch from the back end of the bottle here. 25 IBUs. This unique brew is made in the Kolsch style, which means using ale yeast but fermenting at lager temperatures. Bright straw yellow in color with a flowery hoppy aroma and flavor. This is a clean and refreshing this beer is clean and refreshing and a perfect beer for hot weather. So there you go. You know, it's brewed in San Jose, California. I'm going to let you all look up yourself what craft breweries are in that particular neck of the woods, and you can figure out who brews this. What tickles me is this is the same beer made by that brewer that sells for about $3 less a 6-pack. And it cracks me up when I see, I look at, so-called beer review pages, and they'll give the actual brewer's beer an A and give the Trader Joe's beer a C when they are the exact same beers. It just cracks me the heck up. It just shows how ridiculous those beer review pages are. That's why I don't pay attention to them. It always cracks me up when someone says, well, you talk about a beer, so well, Rate Beer gives it this or BA gives it this. Try it yourself, man. I don't know why people pay attention to those crazy-ass pages. There are some decent folks on there, don't get me wrong. You're going to find a handful of people that know what they're talking about. But I'm going to say at least 80%, if not greater than that, of the reviews on there are absolutely ridiculous from folks that don't understand the style that they're reviewing. And most of them, they're not reviewing the beers, let's be honest. They're reviewing the brewer. So you'll see certain darling brewers always get high marks no matter how the beer is. And you'll get certain breweries that might have one great beer in their stable and they're still going to give it a C because of who brews it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I love craft beer, and I've been drinking it from the start before it was called craft beer. But I get frustrated with the pretension that seems to have swallowed up a lot of what has become craft beer. So let's just have the beer, right? Quit rambling, Tom. Have a drink. This does have the aromas that you expect, with flowery, hoppy aroma and flavor. Yeah, it is very hoppy. It's a little spicy on the aroma as well. It's very bright. It's very crisp. It's very clean. Where does it rank amongst the great Kolsch's? I don't know. I mean, I've had a few really good ones lately. So, one from Urban Chestnut comes to mind. The Bap Kolsch, that one is just crazy good. But in my opinion, in this particular beer guy's opinion, nobody on the planet, no craft brewer anywhere in the world is doing traditional styles better than Urban Chestnut. When they do a traditional style, they just knock it out of the park every time. But for $6 a 6-pack, there's not a damn thing wrong with this beer. It's a good drinking beer. I mean, I would, if you're in the neighborhood of Trader Joe's and you're going to have a big barbecue or picnic, I would stock up on this stuff because, taking in mind that many of your friends may not know what the hell they're tasting anyway. These are all good gateway beers, in my opinion. If you've got beer friends that have never had a Kolsch style, this is a good way to get them interested in, and for you or them to not spend a whole lot of money to get started. Yeah, it is nice. It's a little fruity, it's a little hoppy, but the finish is very nice, dry and clean, which is what you want a beer like this to do. I don't know if it's the most distinctive Kolsch that I've ever had, but it is certainly very likable and very drinkable. I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. We'll talk to you later. Hey, howdy do to you. This is Tom the Beer Whisperer. This is the second of 3 Trader Joe's beers I'm going to do for this particular video. First was a summer brew. Here's the Pilsner. 5%, 32 are the numbers. Brewed and bottled by Joseph's Brow Brewing Company, San Jose, California. Look it up. You're going to see who, look at breweries, craft breweries in San Jose. You're going to figure out who brews this thing. And it's the same Pilsner that they brew under their name. Excuse me, I got an itch on my nose. There we go. Using this Pilsner glass that my wife found at a thrift store. It's a typical Pilsner. There's no name on it or anything. But I like it because it holds the 12 ounces perfectly. So many of them will hold 12 ounces to the top without the head. This is actually a 14-ounce glass all the way up because it holds that 12 ounces and still allows for that 1-inch head, which a good pour always gives you a 1-inch head. And who doesn't like a little head? You had to go there, Tom. I know, I just couldn't help it. These are nice. This runs $6 a 6-pack. I don't know, and I think Trader Joe's beers are pretty solid. They are the exact same beer that this brewery is putting out, and you're going to pick this up for about $3 less a 6-pack because it has a Trader Joe's name on it. All these beers are pretty solid, if unspectacular, but there's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. They're also good gateway beers, and they don't cost you a lot of money. So if you have a Trader Joe's in your neighborhood and you're having a picnic, barbecue, etc., and maybe you've got some macro drinking friends, well, you can load up on a beer like this, or their summer beer, for instance. It's only going to cost you $6 a 6-pack, and they very well could lead into, they could become gateway beers for y'all or for your friends that may not understand craft beer. I've given this beer to some folks that don't understand. They think what they're drinking is a true Pilsner because it says so on their macro label, right? So you give them a beer like this and they start seeing the difference. Now, you're not going to convert everybody, so don't get excited about it. Don't think you should convert everybody. But occasionally you're going to get one person that really understands the body and the finish. And once they get used to that clean, dry finish, as opposed to that, adjunct Coeur d'Alene beer that's so wet and sloppy at the end, and you started with a $6 6-pack beer, and you're going to work up to 7, 8, 9. But that's how you get folks going, man. Don't start with a $12 6-pack beer. You're not going to convert a damn soul. Very likable beer. I gotta tell you, I love this glass. Pilsner glasses are all shaped pretty much the same, but there are some differences. This one just has an old school feel to me. It's got that nice shape. It's a little bit larger, so it holds that 12 ounces perfectly without being right to the rim, which unfortunately so many that I have do. They'll hold 12 ounces exactly, and that's it. But this gives me 12 ounces and some to spare. I'm a big glassware guy. I'm not necessarily that beer geek snob that has to have a specific glass for a specific beer, but a Pilsner and a Pilsner glass is absolutely beautiful. So hey, yeah, I mean, it's certainly worth $6 a 6-pack. If you're one of those guys that has to have a beer that knocks your palate out of whack every time you drink one, then don't buy it. But I got a little bug on my phone there. But I'm not that guy. Sometimes you just want to sit and relax and enjoy a beer and not be snobby about it. And that's what a beer like this is for. I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. We'll see you later. A little addendum here. I shut it down without giving you any tasting notes. Sometimes I get off on a tangent, forget what I'm talking about. I'm not really a beer reviewer, so I don't really do. I sometimes tell you how much I taste, but I usually just tell a story. But there's some light caramel in the malt, which isn't unusual for the style, but it's not heavy, nor is it sweet. It's very crisp. It's very herbal, dry and slightly spicy at the end, which what a good version of the style does. It's got a beautiful golden, so there you go. That's not extremely detailed, but I think that gives you an idea. Again, it's a very drinkable Pilsner. There you go. And well, howdy freaking do to you. How the heck are you? So I have another one from Trader Joe's, Kennebunkport Brewing Company, different brewing company, but when I picked up at Trader Joe's, 4.5% blueberry ale, brewed and bottled by Kennebunkport Brewing Company, Portland, Maine. I'm going to let you all look that up to see who brews that. But they brew they brew a well-known blueberry ale under a different name. It runs about $3 to $4 more a six-pack than this one was. This was $6.99, and it's the exact same beer. It's the exact same beer. I'm using this glass here that my wife found at Goodwill outlets in St. Louis. Again, most of my glassware comes from thrift stores of various kinds. I don't have a Belgian wit to go in here, so I'm using the blueberry. I just wanted to use it. It has a beautiful blueberry aroma. Beautiful. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Can we all just give it? It's beautiful. The blueberry is just man, my nose just keeps itching. Sorry about that. Excuse me for scratching my nose in front of you, but it's better than scratching my ass, I suppose. Anyways, back to the beer. Yeah, the blueberry aroma is beautiful. There's nice blueberry on the flavor as well without being too sweet nor tart. It kind of balances itself very nicely. It's very nice. I've actually bought this beer on several occasions. I picked it up again just because I happened to be by a Trader Joe's. I don't have one here in my neck of the woods, but I picked it up while we were in the St. Louis area. I've also used this beer as part of a marinade. It works beautiful for pork or chicken. I haven't tried it on beef because I don't think it'll hold up to beef, but it's beautiful for pork or chicken. I've used it for a Boston butt. I've used it for various other cuts of pork. I've used it to do a whole chicken. I've used it to do chicken thighs. I've even used it on chicken breasts, but I don't marinate as long if I'm doing breasts. That sounded dirty, man. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm kind of a thigh and a leg man myself, but there's nothing wrong with a little breast every once in a while. Anyways, I digress. There's some other things going on in this beer besides blueberry. You definitely feel it's a little herbal as well. I'm getting some slight spice notes right in the finish, but blueberry really is a star. But again, you know, as much as I love to drink beer, I also love to cook with it, and this is one that really lends itself well to cooking because of the flavors that it imparts. I've used it. Well, I've come to think of it. I actually used it on turkey one Thanksgiving. I used a couple bottles of this along with some other stuff. It didn't necessarily make it taste like blueberry, but it did really tenderize the meat, give it some nice flavors that where people were asking me, what was I using? Because it was very different. And it's the beer, man. It's all in the beer, baby. So, hey, I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. Here's 3 beers I picked up from Trader Joe's. All are worth the money. The first 2 were $6 a 6-pack. This was $7. But, you know, you can't go wrong. Again, the exact same beer that the brewer puts out with a different label runs about $3 to $4 more 6-pack, and it's the exact same beer, my friends. So it cracks me up. If you look at that beer on Rate Beer site or BA, it's funny, you'll see folks give this beer a C, give that beer an A, and it's the exact same damn beer. And just, oh. So anyways, my point being, don't trust those sites, right? Don't use them as gospel when you're picking out a beer. If you're at a beer store, get to know the guy there that's selling the beer. Get to know him, ask him what's coming in and out. But better yet, use your own judgment, man. I certainly have picked some clunkers every now and again, but 90% of the time, if not greater than that, my gut knows what I'm buying, you know? I go in there and I read the labels, and truthfully, I just want to try everything. So try everything yourself, but don't use those sites to dictate what you buy or what you don't buy. Use your own noggin, use your own heart, use your own gut. I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. We'll talk to you later.